What is up, my fellow friends, Cobra Kai fans? This video here is for you. In this video, I wanted to get into the juicy topic of the potential role for a character that was featured quite heavily throughout the early stages of Season 1, and then towards the end kind of just sort of faded into the offset, and then Season 2 just kind of non-existent. And that is Kyla. Now, there's been a lot of speculation. I don't know if it's stuff that's been quantified or if it's been proven, but it's been rumored that he is in line for a return in Season 3, and it's a very plausible kind of rumor, because if you think about it, the two main characters, essentially in this case, Robbie and Miguel, now, depending on what creative choices they make, Robbie, for a good chunk of the story, is going to be inside. He's going to be inside, dealing with that, with Johnny probably, there to support him and, try and figure stuff out, while Johnny is also supporting the other main character in Miguel, who's now suffering in hospital with, major injuries. Again, it's all dependent on the creative choices that they take. But that then there frees the spotlight for other characters to shine in their absence. So I feel like Hawk is definitely going to get the big push in Season 3. He's going to be front and center for most of the time. And I feel like Chris from Miyagi-Do and Dimitri, them two as well in particular. Now, we know Aisha is not going to be in Season 3. So that does open the door for more potential people to have bigger roles. But I do feel like the character of Kyla could really have something more going for him. He could be interesting as a one-and-done type character, but, with the way he was used throughout Season 1, I feel like there is more for his character to offer. I feel like every single character has a quality about them that can redeem them in a sense. There's a redeeming quality in there. And I don't know if that's the route they could take with Kyla. And, you do wonder, right, well, if he wants to join Cobra Kai, Hawk wouldn't have it because Eli used to get bullied by him and all that kind of stuff. And, Miyagi-Do wouldn't want him because Dimitri was also bullied by him. And, nowadays, Kylo could get his ass kicked by both of them. So I do feel like maybe Kylo could introduce a third faction. What if he introduces a third faction into the fold? Now, when I say third faction, it's always going to be Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. But when I say third faction, potentially, what if this third faction is someone that he's been with for a while, and he's been training with them to sort of, regain the respect that he once had? Because if you think about it from Kylo's perspective, and even if it's not the third faction, even if his character just joins one of the dojos, or he has more of a prominent role this season, he was in a position of power within the school hierarchy, if you will. And as soon as Miguel laid the smackdown on him in the cafeteria, since then, it was just a decline for him. And the scene where he looks at Miguel, and then Miguel looks straight at him, he looks down instantly, walks away, and disappears into the ether. That scene was very telling, but then you add into the other scene where it's at the beach party, and Yasmin tells Kyla, go and remove all these people, these aren't people who I would invite, and he's about to go and sort of walk down there, and as soon as he locks eyes with Miguel, he backs up and he says, we could just go to another place, or just, whatever, trying to make excuses to get out of there. Now in Season 2, wasn't there at all. But it would be interesting having his perspective on the whole school brawl, if you know what I mean. It would be interesting to see where his character would align. And he's one of them characters I feel that you could go either way on. He could be a good Miyagi-Do student because he could be seeking, a bit more of the balance kind of life. But he could also go the Cobra Kai way because he wants payback and he wants to feel respected again. But again, it does play into that story of, he is an ex of Sam's. She's now with Robbie. And then it just creates a whole nother love triangle situation again. Which I don't want. I really just want them to avoid the love triangle stuff now. Not avoid it, but focus more on the actual, just the characters individually, which is why I'm excited that Robbie and Miguel are away from Sam, because it gives Sam a platform to sort of shine on her own. And her and Tori are definitely going to get, their rivalry will be front and center this season, 100%. But I do feel like Kyler is in a good position where you could go either way with him. But his character before the Cobra Kai dojo and the Miyagi dojo were established, he was an arsehole to a lot of the characters. So it begs to question, would they even welcome him into their space, knowing what they know about him from previous? And would he have the gall to walk up to one of them and say, hey, I want to join your dojo? It would take some guts. But this is why I feel like it could also introduce the third faction, because it brings a new player to the scene, a new player. Maybe not a big player, but a new player. And it could sort of pave way for more karate dojos to be more involved in this. Now, the problem with that is you don't want it to become too oversaturated. Like, we still want our focus on Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, but if there is a third faction introduced, and you want to use a new character, or you want to use a character that is the beginning of something new, I think Kyler is in perfect position to introduce a third faction. Now, again, I don't know if he is in Season 3, I don't know what role he'll have, but again, it would be interesting to hear his character's take on the whole school brawl, what happened and all that. Because, back in Season 1, he was quite irregular for a little while. And then he got his ass beat, and then he disappeared. So it would be interesting. And I think there's even a rumor floating of Yasmin's return, which I think will feed into Dimitri's arc, because Dimitri always, quote unquote, had the hots for Yasmin, and now he's in a position where he's going to probably feel a bit more confident because he just put Hawk through a trophy case. Now, do I think he's a better fighter than Hawk? Currently, at this stage, no. Hawk is one of the top fighters in the show. But I do feel like with a little patience and training, Dimitri can definitely give him a run for his money. Too early to tell, but I think with the right training and with a bit more time, I feel like he can get there. So I feel like Yasmin will sort of tie into his arc. And then that will tie into Aisha's arc. Now, I don't know the full story about all that. I did a video regarding that. But I do feel like Aisha will come back in Season 4. She'll be different, she'll have changed in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like characters like Kyler, Yasmin, Aisha, these are perfect characters to really introduce a new concept. Maybe even not a new dojo. You don't even have to introduce a new dojo. You could introduce the new way of thinking for Kyler. Maybe the experience humbled him. Maybe he's a changed person. Or maybe he's just, so down in despair that he wants to claw back the respect that he once had. And another story arc that they could do is, you remember that shot of Hawk in the trailer with his fist covered in blood? What if that's actually Kyler? What if Kyler goes to join the dojo and then, he says something about Miguel and then Hawk just goes absolutely ballistic on him? It possible? Maybe? 100%? I don't know, it's a 50-50. It's all just speculation, but this is just so I can get a bit of a dialogue going with you guys down in the comments section and what you think the potential role for Kyler will be. I'd be really excited to see Kyler come back. I think the actor who plays him did a great job. And, to have a character that has those kind of experiences with Hawk when he was Eli, Miguel when he was Miggy, and Dimitri when he was a binary brother, it would be interesting. It would be an interesting juxtaposition to where they are now. So you have where they were, where they are now, and Kyler is he's like the sage. He's known that kind of journey for them, and he can introduce concepts of his own. So it's characters like him, Yasmin, and potentially Aisha for Season 4, where they can really do a lot with them. And even if it's just like a little thing, they don't have to give them this big story arc that blows everyone away, but it could just be like little things. It could be just small things that we pick up on, like little nuances that are created that we go, oh, okay, that's interesting, I never thought of that. But at the end of the day, it's all just speculation. It's all just theory. This was mostly me just getting my thoughts out there, and just sort of, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what may stick. Comment down below and let me know what you guys think of my potential theories or potential storylines for Kyler. And let me know of yours, because at the end of the day, as I say, the conversation starts here but carries on down there. And remember, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. But man, I tell you, Season 3 is ever closer, folks. Season 3 is ever closer. See you all around, people.